cleared land, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
February 17th, 2026 Planning and Zoning Board meeting for the town of Harrisburg. So, without a quorum, we do not have a quorum. Can I adopt?
Need one more.
Make motion, huh?
You need one more.
One more.
Can they adopt the agenda, Rich?
So,
Yeah, they can adopt the agenda for what they're gonna do tonight, you know?
Okay.
So we have our agenda and we can adopt the agenda.
Yeah.
So motion to adopt the agenda.
Motion to adopt.
Second. Perfect.
Favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we adopt our agenda. So after that, we'll go straight to the special presentation.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman and board members. So at the last public meeting, we had a legislative action in which we discussed conditions of approval and such. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity just to go over rules related to project review and conditions of approval. So just as a quick reminder, the duties of our planning and zoning board, are called out in section 144.03.02 of the Unified Development Ordinance. And you're all aware of these and have made these recommendations. So you advise on the comprehensive plan. In land use planning, you advise on initial zoning, such as if it was a annexation, somebody would go through with a rezone. Advise on zoning amendments and plan consistency. I made note of this 30 days. So when considering a legislative action, sometimes the board may recall or call for a continuance to requesting additional information and such, all within the rules of board consideration. There is something in the state statute that says that the board has 30 days to consider, when they hear it, consider a decision. Again, you can continue the item, but after that, the town council can call up the item and consider it. Now, I've done this for 30 years. I've never seen that happen. So it's never happened, but it is in the rules just in the event that something gets caught up at a particular board. So I just wanted to just share that. You can also advise on other ordinances such as the minimum housing, or if we had a historic district, historic preservation ordinances. Other duties is really the planning board is tasked with helping to monitor comprehensive plans. Many jurisdictions actually require the planning board to do an assessment, an annual assessment, and report out to the council. You can help facilitate and coordinate citizen engagement regarding the planning process, like your help at any of our neighborhood meetings that we had, or public outreach for our comprehensive plans, or the open houses. And you can also serve on various special subcommittees on planning-related topics. So I just want to quickly, I'm going to use the legislative process as an example, just to remind the board of the process we go through to get a case before a board, whether it's the planning and zoning board or the town council. So if we have a legislative, I'm going to say a conditional zoning, any type of application, we require pre-application. So they just meet with the town, and they tell us they're thinking about a particular project on particular land, and we lay out the framework for them and tell them if it's even possible for what they're asking. If they get past that, if it is something that could be a viable project, we then typically ask them to do a sketch plan. A sketch plan is just a minor site plan on their way to a more well-designed plan. So sometimes people will refer to them as 30% plans or 40% plans. So somebody can go through a sketch plan, and we may go through 4 or 5 iterations of a sketch plan. It is vetted by the entire DRC, which I'll go over that in a minute. So the DRC, we meet at least twice a month. We actually have more meetings scheduled if we have a heavy workload during a particular month. And it just keeps going through DRC every time they resubmit, and we give them comments until it gets to a point where it's something that is in compliance with our code. It may also include during the sketch plan phase, if they need a traffic analysis, we go ahead and start that early. So that is all before a formal application for a rezone is even submitted to the town. We have them really vet this out to see if it's going to make it through. So once we get to a healthy sketch plan that's supported by the DRC, and their traffic analysis is complete, it's in a draft stage, we then allow them to go to the neighborhood meeting. So the neighborhood meeting is held right here at Town Hall. In fact, we have one this Thursday for 2 projects that you will be hearing about on next month's agenda. So we have a neighborhood meeting, and we notify property owners within 300 feet of the subject site. And we host it. It's really a developer-led meeting. We're here to talk about process and parameters, what the schedule is, if it moves forward. We are not here to defend the project. It's up to the developer to present their information, and we are here so we can also hear what the residents, the adjacent property owners, what their concerns are. So after a neighborhood meeting, we get the minutes from the meeting, and we sit down with the developer and see if there are some major concerns. We try to see what we can do to help address those. So again, it sort of goes back to DRC. We work with the applicant to fine-tune their plan, and then they're ready to actually submit a conditional rezone plan if that's the type of case. So they file the application. So at that point, the plan should be pretty solid at that point. So again, it goes to DRC because we know we are getting it in line for the agenda to the Planning and Zoning Board. It may go through a couple of rounds with the DRC. We're trying to fine tune it and establish conditions of approval to see if we've addressed as much as we believe we can. So then it's scheduled at the Planning and Zoning Board. It comes before you. We present it. We try to answer your questions. You do have the authority. There are some laws, parameters about it, but you can place conditions on projects as well. And then you're recommending board to ultimately the town council for a decision. So some projects, most of our projects, take about a year to get from the very first time they call us to getting up in front of the town council. And so the larger projects take a little longer than that. So a little bit about the Development Review Committee. So all the departments are represented, and I see I missed one, which is fire. So it includes engineering, public works, NCDOT, attend the meeting, of course, planning department, economic development, park and recreation. We also route to the school district and inform Cabarrus County, so they can submit comments to us as well on any proposed project. So while every time this is going through DRC, we do give weekly reports or bi-weekly reports to the leadership team, which is management here, so they're aware of where a project is and what's moving through the system. We also interact quite a bit with our town attorney on projects, just to ensure we are following regulations, or if they ask us legal questions, we do get back to them. And then also the sewer allocation committee, we do let them know early on that this is going through the pipeline so they can put it on their large spreadsheet as a possible need in the future. So that is our Development Review Committee.
Can you quickly just say who represents the sewer allocation committee? Are they appointed town staff, volunteer? Who are
It's
they?
per our policy, it is town staff, it's leadership, the town manager, deputy town manager, public works, engineering, economic development, planning. I'm trying to see if I'm missing someone else. No, I believe that is it. It's based on our policy. All right. So that brings me, so that's a little bit about plan review, moving on into the conditions of approval. So as provided in my last slide around the process, we worked with the DRC team to try to establish conditions based on the site plan for your consideration. These are presented to the Planning and Zoning Board as well as the Town Council. We also include conditions of approval in development agreements on our larger residential subdivisions or any time we may be entering into a public-private partnership. So on conditions of approval, there are some basic limits to what we can condition. In every case, our goal is to stay out of trouble, and that's because we are law-based. The state identifies the parameters, and so we do push as hard as we can on conditions of approval in our plan reviews, but you have to show an essential nexus when you place a condition on, say, a conditional approval. So you have to show that relationship. You can't require something that we are not lawfully allowed to do, like impact fees are not allowed. We could not require, I'm trying to think of a certain situation, something that is just totally unrelated to the project. Maybe you can come up with an idea. I'm drawing a blank. But there has to be a relationship. And then also, you may have recalled at the last meeting, one of the representatives talked about proportionality. There's supposed to be a rough proportionality tied to the proposed condition as it relates to the project. So those are really the two things we are looking at. Again, Harrisburg, we have the zoning ordinance, but most of our projects are above our minimum requirements, and we try to push as hard as we can without getting in trouble with the state and attorneys. The conditions are supposed to be set to mitigate impacts of the development as well. So again, that's part of determining that relationship, the nexus. Is it related to an impact they are causing? And then it has to be proportional. So that is all I have on that. I don't know if you have anything you'd like to add on that? Proportionality or nexus?
Well, I think in a general way, that pretty much covered it. I mean, you can get into some specifics, which you did to some degree. You know, it's got to be related to that project and the impact it'll have, and there's only certain ways that you can frame the conditions. You know, because you can't have impact fees. Correct. Which, you know, if we had that might make it a whole lot easier to deal with, but you can't do that except with the parks. You know, that really is an impact fee, but they don't call it that.
Right.
So
payment in lieu.
But certainly the biggest one that's, you know, that we dealt with, we haven't dealt with it lately because, you know, the Supreme Court decided that was, you know, the impact on schools. Mm-hmm. And, you know, this board can consider the impacts on schools, but has to understand that the town has no control over any of that. So we can't make it a centerpiece. If we say, if you got, let's say a 500 lot of subdivision is going to come in Harrisburg, I mean, that would, based on what I remember of the number of students that would generate, would almost be at least half of, and maybe 3/4 of a new elementary school. And, you know, and of course, that would make a huge impact. But it really is up to the school board to decide that. And they give you their numbers.
Right, they do.
Which they share, but any decisions made out here doesn't have any impact on them, on what they might decide to do. And they could move students around between schools. They have that power. So we have to deal with some impacts that we really can't completely mitigate. So it makes your job tough on some of these ones of that sort, because you have a certain freedom to decide, you know, what you're going to determine is relevant, particularly for the Harrisburg area, but you don't have unlimited ability to deal with the conditions that may be caused by you know, a new development. So it just you have to kind of pick out the ones that you can deal with, and kind of let go of the ones you can't, and then, you know, kind of try to proportion them, like Shelley says, to what is being presented by this particular development and the impacts it'll have in different ways. But you have a lot of discretion in a lot of ways, but in certain ways, on certain projects, it can be kind of limited. And so part of what you have to be able to understand about that is which ones you can affect, and which ones you can, which ones you can't, and then fashion the conditions to deal with what you can, and hopefully, you know, have the project fit into everything else in Harrisburg, without it having some sort of big impact that you really can't deal with. So.
Thank you.
Okay, do you have any other questions? I know that was real brief, just a quick overview.
Well, we've had it before.
Yeah.
Nothing new.
Okay, so next we have public comment. Nobody signed up in person. Anybody online waving their hands? Nobody online asking to speak? No old business, no new business. The consent agenda, we cannot vote on, right?
That's
Cannot
correct.
vote on the consent agenda, so old business, new business, nothing.
To be continued.
Staff updates.
Yes.
It's crashing.
Is this working? Yeah. I think it's fine. Let's see. Ah, there we go. So I just wanted to give an opportunity to the board to ask any questions about any of our projects on the development map. Again, we try to update it with new site plans or resubmittals weekly. Matthew has done a great job in keeping this up to date. So I can go over particular projects if you'd like, or there's certain ones you'd like to talk about or have questions about things under development. Most of the information, again, is provided, right?
Not really, but since you landed on the hospital, do you know where they're at on their state petition?
I do not know where they are on their state petition. They have an older one that I believe authorized them a certain amount of beds, but they want to go larger, so they were going to resubmit that. In fact, I believe the town manager mentioned that today. They contacted him, was asking for a letter of support.
The two for next month are not on the map yet.
Which ones?
I don't know. Do we have two cases you said next week?
They are on the map. So the two cases that are scheduled for the neighborhood meeting is the Black Wilder and, what's the other, I'm sorry?
Peach Orchard.
Peach Orchard, yes, I apologize. So, yes, I drew a blank here, but I was like, what do you mean they're not on there? So,
They are.
Black Wilder is this long skinny parcel that is a proposed subdivision. The plan's on the website. We've been reviewing the sketch
for this
plan,
section.
which is on the
So it'll
site,
be on this
the website as well. So the sketch plan under review, the notice of neighborhood meeting is also on here. It sits, this is, Auburn is actually completely built out. It's right off of Black Wilder. It takes access from Lakeland, and it will provide a connection, I got it wrong last night, but all the way from Black Wilder over to Roberta Road. So people will not have to go up and go all the way around anymore, or come through 74. They'll be able to come through right to, right over to Roberta. So 66 lot subdivision, this is not a conditional zoning. You're seeing it for
I saw
a
that.
preliminary plat. It's a by right development. So the existing zoning is residential medium. They are exceeding the minimum requirements in lot size and buffers, et cetera, for the residential medium classification. The preliminary plat will be heard by this board and then go to town council for a decision, which we will accompany the preliminary plat with the development agreement. So it's not a very process-heavy project, but they've worked pretty hard on the design based on the configuration or of the lot. It's such
Do they
a.
have any grandfather approval? I mean, is this all
I'm
about
unaware of any prior approval on this site. I have not seen it. So it's, again, the zoning's there, it's vacant. In fact, I've never looked back, and maybe I should look into that to see when it was actually annexed into the town. I really don't know, and how
Bill,
long
you
it's
may
had
be
that
thinking
zoning.
about a project that was on some Bachwelder property next
Across
door.
the street,
Yeah.
across the street on the
Yeah.
road.
Right, up
I'll
over
tell
here.
you, staff has worked a long time on this project.
This one, yeah, this one got a little
Yeah.
complicated because it is a very unusual shaped lot, so it was
Flag
harder
subdivision.
to work, yeah,
Kinda,
it
yeah.
is, so it was hard to work on. They have basic rights under their zoning for development, so,
Was the builder?
yeah, it's been a little while on this project. So the other project is Peach Orchard. It is on here as well. Let me see if I can pick it out. It may be familiar to you. In the past, this project had a prior project approved on it back in 2022 and was heard in 2023. It was called the Divine Property, and it was disapproved by town council a couple of years ago. Now, the Polte Group is the applicant. This is 175 acres. They're proposing a 143 lot subdivision. Their neighborhood meeting is this week as well. In their design, I'm not sure what that means, but in their design, they are including a 20-acre dedication for a public park to the town within this one. It includes greenway, a multi-use path greenway, a large dedication They had to do, they will be doing some traffic mitigation as well. And the rest I'll share at the meeting, or you can come to the neighborhood
Questions already, I'm
meeting.
like, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
also-
right, so I don't want to do the analysis here, but they've been working with us for some time. And we've actually talked to multiple developers over the past couple of years on this property, and this team seems to have been the best so far, working with us on the site design and so forth. So this is, again, going to, we'll have a neighborhood meeting this Thursday, and we anticipate it being on the Planning and Zoning Board's agenda for March.
They're both this Thursday?
Yes.
Both neighborhood meetings?
Yes.
Consecutive?
Yes.
What time is this? They're both at?
6. That's 6 o'clock,
First
so
one to
yes.
6?
Normally, what, 6 to 7, 7 to
Yes,
8, give or
so,
take?
yes, we try to limit it to no more than an hour for each project if it takes that long. We notify, we use the same notification as we would for the planning and zoning board, so all property owners within 300 feet of the site are notified and able to come and attend. Again, it's a developer-driven discussion. We're here just to help facilitate and let an open dialogue with the neighbors occur between the developer and the neighbors, so.
Good deal. Thank you for that.
Yes. So are there any other projects? You asked about the hospital. That's a nice big project. And the other two, are there any
We
other
got something to do with-
projects? Trying to think of anything new that's come in. Panda Express was released for construction, so that will be happening in Harris Square.
I still wish we could see what's coming to DRC.
I'm sorry?
I still wish we could see what was coming into DRC. I'm very big in front side of this, what's
Well-
being proposed for development. But anyway, we don't have to debate that.
Well, again, that's a staff level
I
analysis. Anything that gets a formal application is put on this map. So the only thing that the public doesn't see at DRC would be like the pre-applications. Again, they're not a formal application, somebody has an idea, and we talk with them about it. And, yeah. You ultimately see exactly what DRC, when the project moves forward, but, yeah.
All right. We got any other questions? About that?
That's all I have.
All right, I believe that was the last item, so number 6 is adjournment. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
You can consider that one too.
Consider it adjourned.